My name is Gary Alanaoko Lelo Halani Pao Billings. And I originally come from Wai'anae on Oahu. And basically, farming continues to save my life all the time, every day. And so lots of times when I think about farming or I talk about farming, it's a lot different than, I mean everybody's different, but sometimes mine is really different. Because I come from it, I come at it from a different perspective. I came from a very broken household where mother and father did drugs. Mom OD'd when I was 14. I was a pretty bad meth addict in my teens, and then I found Aloha. There's lots of things before that, but eventually I found Aloha, and I found a kumu, a mentor, and that is really what saved my life. It continues to save my life, all the time. Not because I'm scared of going back and using or any of those things, but because it fulfills me in a way that nothing really else does, except for and so when I think about farming, or I talk about farming, I think about the growth of people and of farmers just as much as the growth of food, and crops, and those things. I feel like we need to cultivate ourselves as we cultivate the earth. That there's no, I'm learning more and more that there's no, stop. It's a continuum. I am the vai that runs through my lo'i. I am the dirt and the worms and the food that is grown there. I am all of those things, and all of those things are me. And that's, when I come upon super hard times and I don't know how to get rid of my shet, I give it to the plants. But they know what to do with shet. They turn around and, you guys don't, farmers don't, plants know what to do with shet. So I give it to them. And that's kind of my therapy. When I need to meditate, per se, I go outside, I just pull weeds for hours, and I get intuition. Aina talks to me, Mauna Kea talks to me. My kupuna talks to me, the stream talks to me. When I have, problems of balance, I go and I watch the stream sometimes for hours, and it teaches me what to do in my own life and how to come back into balance, because the earth does it in a way that I don't know if any of us can even understand. So when I talk about farming, and I think about farming, and I do all those things, I have this whole other kind of outlook that comes with it, and I'm sure lots of other people do. But sometimes people think I'm weird, but I'll do it anyway. So kind of what I want to talk about is ties to the land as a farmer, and I am very motivated by Manu Meyer and the way that she teaches classes, because I don't like talking in front of people, and I definitely don't like talking about myself, and so I want all of us to talk to each other. It puts the weight off me. So my kumu's name, I have many kumus, but my main kumu, my mentor who taught me how to grow kalo and just kind of be there, whatever happens in the space, I just learn how to be there. And I fight with myself all the time. I'm like, I gotta produce, and like have this much of whatever every week and whatever. And I'm like, and I hear Uncle Calvin Hole, who is my mentor, tell me, it's okay. It's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. And I just learned that I just need to be there sometimes, most of the time, and I get the messages that I need to carry forward. So I want you guys. This is what Manu does in her classes. You guys talk to each other, okay? So you have to turn to a partner. Well, I don't have to do it since I'm the talker. Turn to your partner, whoever your partner may be, and I want you to talk about who's your kumu for like 1 minute.
The farming kumu.
Whatever, just who's your kumu? Like, where does your genealogy of your thoughts as a farmer, I guess, or as a healer, or whatever? I don't even care what you talk about. But where do those things, where do those things come from? Yeah, because I mean, I know that I don't just think of everything myself. I know everything, Where do those things come from? But I don't know if we think about those things enough. Yeah, there you go. So that's in true Manu fashion, how she got attention back to the class. But I can't do it. Mine is just horrible. Anyway, so
because my ultimate goal was one day.
You know what you said about plants know what to do with shit? There's a Midwestern farmer saying that to get good crops, sometimes you have to spread shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed.
I like that one.
So yeah, I think we don't often think about where was our first little kupu, right? Our first little sprout. Kupu is that first little green thing that comes out of the dirt. Where does that come from for us as farmers? You know what I mean? Where was that spark, that little, or that, you just had to, you had to have the exact right kind of conditions, right? It had to be like nice warm soil, just moist enough, not too wet, for your seed to start to sprout, and then your little kupu idea came up at some point in your life. And we don't think about those things, and so you should call those people and you should tell them thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me about, farming, or making me spread shit, or, whatever, because, I was in this meeting and I just thought of you, and I just thought of wow, how much, has this person had to do in my life where I'm at? I don't know if we think about those things enough. I probably don't call my kumu, for my kumus enough because I hate my phone. Don't answer it ever.
Like a true farmer.
And I think those things are important because when you think of the word kumu, right? It's like it's a tree stump, right? Like a tree trunk. It's also a teacher. It's also the source of something. So Nana Ike Kumu is look to the source, right? So when you think of kumu or mentor or whatever, it's all those things. And each one of us in this room are kumus and mentors to other people, right? And usually we do it through farming because that's what we do. We do it through food, right? We do it through talking to people. We do it through art. We do it through memes.
Basically, that's not art.
But but we do it all the time, and so we too need to be conscious of those things. What am I perpetuating in this world? What am I growing? What am I cultivating? And yeah, you can cultivate kale and collards and bananas. I don't know, Kyle can probably just tell us all of the things. We can cultivate all those things, and those things are great. But we can't forget to cultivate ourselves. We cannot forget to cultivate our youth and our older Kupuna people. They lived through some hard stuff, man. And so we need to cultivate and mom with them and bring them into the fold and say, no, Uncle Auntie, that's not how we do it anymore. It's a little softer now. You know, so, you know, my kumu comes from Hakipu'u, on Oahu, and then he is a Waiahole tower farmer since the 70s with the raccoons. He did the whole water fight and everything out there. Activists, had to have, you know, 3 bypasses and blah, 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 because your body doesn't know if you're angry because of a good reason or a bad reason. It just knows it's angry, and anger is never good on the body. And so he became like a peace activist. He's pretty healthy because you look in his backpack, it's like mildew and all kinds of stuff, and that's what he eats. It's kind of scary. There's a lot of microbes. But his saying is, just plant. You know, you just plant. Like, oh, you're over there? Okay, plant over there. Oh, you're over there? Okay, plant over there. You know, you just plant. And people used to think he's crazy because it looks crazy. But he always has food. You know, he's always in good spirits because he spends a lot of time with the plants. And whether you like it or not, you flock to him. And I just want to talk a little bit about him because he's my kuma, and I think that there's more than one. Of course, we all have more than one. We'll all have continuous kuma through our lives, and we'll mesh that together and see how it all fits and whatever. But it's, you know, again, I just think it's important to think about those things. Being in Hawaii, genealogy is important, right? So who you come from, who's your family, who's your stock. You know, you go talk to local people, you connect each other with all the names, right? Oh, you know this guy and that guy, oh yeah, that's my uncle, it's my cousin, and that's how you connect, that's how you know each other. You know, that's how you figure each other out. Okay, I can trust him because he's, you know, a nephew to my uncle's cousin. Or whatever. Even if you're not from here, eventually you have genealogical ties almost to the place because you get hanai almost into all of these different families, you know. And being in Hawaii is special, and to know that as farmers we do have genealogical ties to this place, you know. And people with Hawaiian blood might run deeper and different, but that doesn't mean that other people don't have it. So you have a responsibility as a Hawaiian or a non-Hawaiian being here in Hawaii farming to perpetuate and honor those genealogical ties to the land. Every time you plant kalo, you are connecting yourself to haloa. You know what I mean? Every time you go in the water, every time you go in the dirt, you're connecting yourself to you know, Haumea and Papa and Kane and Kanaloa and everybody. And so you have these things because you're not apart from the land and apart from these elements. You're a part of. So think of those things when you farm. It might take you a little bit longer to do your task, but I promise it's a little bit more fulfilling. And then if you just can't deal with it, just be like, that guy was nuts. Do what I was doing. Because this is taking all my time. Okay, and so, you know, in my class, my teenagers, they're not all teenagers, I had 4th through 12th graders in my Lohi class. And I would, you know, teach them how to talk to the plants, and you know, ask for permission to move the rocks and all this kind of stuff, right? And they gotta take tests. They gotta take tests like all other kids. And I had this one student that was taking his test, and he asked the person who's proctoring the test, how come you don't have the kind of questions on here that my kumu puts on our tests? And the proctor was like, what's that? I was like, oh, Like, who asked? True or false? It's weird to talk to plants. You know, but I'm trying to cultivate a relationship in them, right? A relationship with the plants and with their land in them, because then they'll learn how to have relationships with people. It's much harder to have relationships with people than it is to plants. Plants are easy. But that's how I learned how to have good relationships with people. It's like, oh, I should probably treat that person how I treat my plants. And I cultivate good relationships with people. And so that's what I wanted to try to cultivate in them, you know, is that you treat this plant really, really good. Like from like when we're cutting how, we are praying, we are chanting, you know, and we are, if you have any bad thoughts, you go sit on the side until you can get rid of them. And then you come back, because one day, you can cut the how, you're going to take out all the tree stumps, you can dig the ground, you can plant plants inside, and somebody's going to eat it. You know? So all the way from inception, all the way to consumption, that plant gets filled up with all kinds of love. You know? And that is, I think, a sustenance that is irregular in our lives. And I don't know if it's sustainable. It'll take a long time, you know, in that way. But you eat one food that somebody did that to, and you eat one food that somebody went, I don't know, not even have to put pesticides on top, but it's just like they never even touched the thing. It's different. It's different. So, yeah, like I said, I talk about weird stuff. So I just want to talk about those things, and I want you guys to turn to your partner. It's boring when you don't have a partner. and I want you to kind of talk about that, like sustenance. What's sustenance to you as a farmer? Hey, so sustenance. I know I made, you know, it sound really time-consuming to like talk to your plants and chant and really like ritualistic, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like just an intention. Just like when you pass your plants by, just like, I love you. You know what I mean? It's like, you're awesome. Yeah, whatever.
I totally do that all the time.
You rock.
That's right. That plant's gonna stand up straight, like, well, yeah.
I totally see that.
Yeah, and you know, like she likes to sing, so she goes out in the morning and in the evening and she just sings, you know, and the plants are happy. So it doesn't have to be like ritualistic and like drudgery and like take all your time because you're, you know, trying to do all this stuff to your plants, but like just like treat them how you would treat your friend, you know. And stuff like that. And I don't know if it helps the plants more or helps the human more. I have no idea. But whatever it is, I think it works. Because I've seen many of people and many of plants heal from things that people think that cannot be healed from. Just for like, just making the plant your friend a little bit. Just like being there with them, going in the natural elements, and just having a different consciousness about doing those things. Now when I go to my stream, I'm not really just thinking about, oh, I'm hot. I'm thinking about like the water that comes from Mauna Kea and this whole Mauna Kea thing. Because that's where my water comes from. And when I like dip my whole body in that, it is a whole different spiritual experience than I'm hot. And I need to cool off. But would I have taught those things had somebody not told me that I should maybe think a little bit more about the things I do and the way I'm connected with this land? Probably not. I probably just think, I'm hot. So, you know, take a swim. I'm in paradise. I have a stream by my house. You know? But I was taught these things, you know, how to cultivate those things within myself and then how to cultivate the earth. I'm not the greatest farmer, you know. never will be. But I'm gonna keep trying and keep practicing, and I know that the food that I do eat and the food that I do, you know, get to people is the best food that I could possibly do at that time. And it's the most sustenance that I had at that time to give. And I hope in the future it'll be like more and more and more. Anyways, so I started farming, I don't know, in 2000. My first thing Aloha, so happened. I was cutting how and whatever, and then, you know, I had just started working at Hawai'i Learning Center. I was just coming out of a bad place in my life, and I told them, like, honestly, like 6 months ago, I was not in a good place. But if you hire me, you won't be, you know, sorry. And they hired me, and I don't think they were sorry. Until I left, but I told them, you wanted to grow farmers, you know, I'm going to even be a farmer, so it's your own, you know, your own thing. But I first found Aloha in 2007, and I just like cried, and I didn't even know why I was crying. And I put my feet in the mud, and I just felt like, oh, this is home. And so I tried to create those feelings and those things in my life. And do I always succeed? Hell, no. Mostly not. But when I go back to the Aloha, it reminds me of how to do those things, because it knows how to do those things for me. So that's how I kind of cultivate sustenance in my life, and I was grateful for people to teach me those things. And yeah, I didn't probably talk about anything else I was talking about. Making starch is what I was supposed to. But I Cheryl them. I don't know. I told Cheryl and Auntie Jackie, I'm not allowed to stay on topic person. That's the boring part about farming, is making starch and whatever. You know, the fun part about farming is like all the other stuff that happens in the process and things I learn about myself and the plants and the people that I meet in my life. Those are like the fun part about farming. Like, that's why I'm a farmer. I mean, I like to eat, don't get me wrong, but I like to eat healthy, good food, and so I'm grateful for all of you guys too for farming and doing those things and branching out. You guys are the lalas, the branches into the community that from the kumu, whoever those kumus are. You know, and you guys create that. We all create that. So thank you very much. And so yeah, I'm a pretty new farmer. I started in like, I don't know, 2007. He probably took me under his wing in 2008. I don't know what year it is now, 2015. So how many ever years that is? That's how long I've actually been trying to learn how to farm. And I'm super happy to be here on the Big Island, where, I mean, time and time again, you know, I find myself in places where I get to cultivate myself. I get to be around great people and make good connections. Uncle just told me that I used to come to his house once a week when I was a kid.
What?
It's a trick, man.
Full circle.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like time and time again, I find myself in these places. Yeah, genealogy,
Yeah.
right? Genealogy. And so we understand each other differently than when I just met him outside. You know, we understand each other through family members and family ties. And so those things too with farmers, you know. That's why we have like, what? Coconut jury or whatever, right? You're the coconut guy or whatever he wants to be called. What did he say?
What was it?
I don't know. It was something. Don't tell him I said that. He said it was like something more fancy than that. You
Too
know,
many guys that go by coconut now.
Coconut Chris. And
Yeah. He doesn't want to be affiliated.
Yeah. Well, he had this like fancy thing. He said. I forget what it was. It was fancy though. But
Sounds about right.
But same thing, you know what I mean? Oh, Yuri. Okay, I know Yuri. Yuri's a pretty good guy. You know what I mean? That's how I know you. So that's why you gotta be careful too. Like, Everybody's affiliated to everybody. Everybody has these aqua cords, these, you know, all connected to each other. And to me, weird as it might be, that is really what farming is about. It's about cultivating us and the land and our relationships and the plants. It's all of it. So that's my spiel about farming for tonight. I'm glad that you guys had me come talk story. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your questions. You can ask me about starch if you want. Anybody? Not you.
I was gonna say that, like, even all the starch stuff, like I think about it, like that was just stuff like we were making for ourselves, you know. And then I don't even remember how the hell.
Because I needed something I could sell that wouldn't spoil tomorrow.
Oh yeah. That's what it was. So we're like,
We all know how that is.
Everyone's hot on breadfruit right now. We make Lulu flour all the time for ourselves. Let's see if they want it.
Yeah.
And then it was like through people,
Yeah.
somebody was like, "Hey, we want to put this in our store." And we're like,
I mean, we were
"Oh."
eating at Spokane every day, and we didn't even realize it was Cherry
I know,
Mom's place.
because we know Cherry from when she was on Oahu, and then we were like at Spokane, just behind the counter one day. We're like, "Do you work here? What are you doing here?" She was like, "Yeah, this is my mom's cafe." I'm like, "What?" So it was a small world.
Yeah. And then, like, you know, I met Stella on the Mauna. Like, that's where we first met. Like on the Mauna, like day 3 or something.
Yeah.
We, like, had
Walking the crosswalks.
walking in
We
the
talked
cross-
about farming. I
We
said,
did.
yeah. I was like, I was working for this guy, and I was like,
Yeah. So we're walking in the crosswalk
Like, you
with
know
our
the
signs,
style?
doing our Aloha checkpoint, talking about farming, eating all
Hot
kind.
yay.
We're
Yeah,
eating
it's
all
nice.
kind of good Aina foods. We had
Yeah.
like one little pop-up tent. It was all shivery.
We're
Oh.
blazing hot.
And we were all ugly, yeah? We were all like chapped and black and whatever, but like, you know, like that's where I know Stella from. Like that's our tie so far. And it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So, I guess, point to my story is, don't forget to cultivate yourselves. Yeah, as we cultivate these plants. Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. I think there should be a time for questions if anybody has weird questions.
Or normal questions.
Or normal
We
ones.
prefer the
Whatever-
weird ones, but
whatever that means.
Yeah.
it's fine.
But I hope to bring a consciousness more about where people like here I feel like you guys get it, you know what I mean? But you talk sometimes to people and they're like they can't even comprehend what you're talking about. You know? So I think raising consciousness is important. As farmers, as people. What's up?
Can you tell me a story about how you got to your land?
Oh, story about how I got to my land.
Yeah, how did you get your land?
Okay, so we got married. I don't know, when did we get married?
2015. We just watched part of our like wedding video today too.
So we got married, and then I graduated college. Never picked up my degree yet. But graduated college, and then we're at a pivotal moment in life. You know, like, I worked at this school running their ag program for 7 years, and I was just like burnt out because DOE sucks, right? And I was like burnt out, so I could either go full force, you know, like do that for another how many ever years.
So you were educated before?
Yeah, yeah. We're about to get some new land, so then if I took that on, I would have to really like stay for a while, you know, the local stuff. So we had a chance to like think about, okay, well, what do we want? And so we started to dream it up. And we looked on Oahu. First of all, there's hardly any water. The water that is around, it was crazy. We went to North Shore, right, and we looked at this property, and there was like a lot of water, it was really good. And we looked at aerial maps, all Monsanto, all the way around. I was like, I can't grow cotton in there. There was like people getting sick even though they were growing their own food. And to me, that is the ultimate. You cannot even grow your own food. You still get sick. then you're all screwed after that. You're gonna be forced to buy and eat things that you can't even rip it. You know. Anyway, so many of those things, and then I guess we decided, well, let's go look on other islands, but we're not gonna settle unless we find something perfect. So we went to Maui. We were like, we don't like Maui.
It took us about 10 minutes. Nope, not here. I think Maui's like one of those things you either vibe
Yeah,
with
like
or
immediately,
it's like,
you know, yeah.
And then we went to Kauai and we're like, oh, this is so beautiful, but it's so saturated. And then what do you do on Kauai? It's like, you know, Hilo on downers. Especially on the North Shore where the Aloha Farmers are, right? Like, you just like go to Tiki's and then drink, and I don't know, right? And I told her I had been over here a bunch of times with KS, and I told her I kind of like the Big Island. Let's go over there. So we came, we kind of liked the vibe, and so we got a realtor, and we started doing like real estate marathon. We'd come in for the weekend, and just our realtor would pick us up, and we would go to all these places, and eventually we got it down to like, first we were like, I want this place, I'm not gonna look at anywhere without a stream, and then it was like, where's the stream? Oh, sorry. Where's the stream? It's in the spit. It's way down in the gulch. Like I can't access that. So I try to explain to them, okay, this is what I want. I'm gonna be able to make lo'i, and it's gotta be like I gotta be able to like walk into it from my property.
Not like dive down into the gulch.
Like not like rappel, you know. So we went to this property by, I don't know, they call it the Gears, right? We went down there, and the realtor that was showing that property said, oh, I think I have something perfect, because we were explaining, and we said, but it's not on the market. We went up to our land. It was perfect. We couldn't act too excited, right?
Because
It
it
wasn't on the
listed.
market. And then they took us down to by the stream, and I just like, the vision just like, boom. Like I just seen all the lo'i going, I just seen the water exactly where I was gonna bring it in and everything. And I'm like, this is perfect. Act nonchalant. So we couldn't afford it, so we lowballed them, like $100,000 lowball, and they accepted our offer. Yeah. And
Whoa.
and I mean that's how we got our land. You know, the way we ended up here is a total different story. It's through a whole bunch of things, but that's how we got our land, and we just like took the big plunge, like, quit our jobs, and moved over here, and sold to Sweet King.
Sure, if you were here, come buy something from us.
And then get asked to come to.
Yeah. So
meeting to
they have kept me employed since I've gotten here, so thank you so much. But I've met really good people who also, you know, wanna, like once the Mauna happened, they like somehow needed more play or something. So kept me employed, you know. But yeah, so that's how we got our land, and you just walked on the land, it just like with your bare feet, and it was just like almost like, I don't know, can't even explain it. It's like this is where it's at, you know. Yeah, that's why I ended up here.
Oh, for sure, it's beautiful. Yeah,
Well,
I knew it was gonna be good.
I don't know if it's that good, but it's long. The story.
Where's your land at?
Honolulu, like by more by the transfer station side.
Okay.
Like, you know that big black gate that used to always be closed on the Mauka side? So both on the Mauka side, because Mauka doesn't move.
On like after the transfer station?
No.
That turn?
So if you're coming from the transfer station side
Towards Honolulu Town.
towards Honolulu Town, it's going to be on your right hand side. It's the only. It's like there's all those lots right there, right by the transfer station. There's that road going up,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's that lot. It's the only other road going up Mauka.
Oh, okay. Before you get to Honolulu.
Yeah, before you get to the town. If you're coming from the town, it's like you go over the little bridge or whatever, and as soon as you come into the clearing, it's left. So
Okay.
it's about I don't know how much about a mile up. About a mile up, but it's just so beautiful. No fire ants, but you know, it's still beautiful. They're gonna figure themselves out.
Well, they're not very good at swimming, right? So if you're at least when you're in the low-E or something.
Yeah, they don't bother me in the low-E. They don't really bother me too much. But it's just so beautiful. There's like, and it's perfect. It's not like, you know, if we lived in Hawai'i, it would like be all like you worried about your house getting flooded. But our house is like way up, and then there's like a road that goes down to the stream, and there's like 3 acres down there.
How many acres total?
Cool.
22.
Oh, nice.
Some of it's
Good
sloping, so it's
Yeah.
not all.
Thank
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to, you know, take care of it. Sometimes it's just maintenance is all I can do.
It's kind of like Uncle's thing though, just plant, right?
Just plant.
Like it was like, we're like, yeah, 20 acres, why not?
We're
Like,
gonna be
like, don't go for 5, that's too reasonable. But it was all about like, we talked about it before we left, it was like, you gotta dream the uncompromised dream. You know, like that song, Dream the Impossible Dream from Anna Camacho. It's dream the uncompromised dream. Like it's just a dream. Why are you gonna dream a compromised dream? Like dream the big dream. You know, and then it shows up.
And I want it to be a place, we want it to be a place that people can come and cultivate themselves, really. If we want to grow food, you know, I gotta make some money, I gotta make ends meet or whatever. But really, I want to see mass loads of people be healed through cultivating themselves. I don't even want to be their teacher or anything. I just want to hold space for them to come and work and figure out what they gotta do with the Aina. Like that's their teacher, not me. Makes it easier, you know. Yeah. And there's only like 4 houses in our whole neighborhood, so.
Nice.
And like 3 of them are right in the beginning, and there's nobody. There's tenant farmers, but there's no houses. We have beautiful views of the ocean and Mauna Kea.
Lots are up for sale though, so if anyone's feeling spendy, come buy a 20 to 25 acre lot and do organic farming. We're all about it. Be our neighbor.
The guy above me, you know, he like doesn't speak that much English, and he just like puts any kind of stuff on his crops and whatever. So I had to like build this little like swale almost so that his runoff would like go out
Right, not into
and not
stream,
into
yeah.
not into my property.
How much are lots selling for over there?
They're like, I think he's listing them right now at 4 or 440.
But there's no way he can get that much.
I doubt he's gonna get that much.
Because it's like
Only the
Without house or anything, it's
Yeah.
just a
They're-
lot.
Yeah, and right now most of them have sweet potato farmers or something else happening.
So does your stream get way bigger when it rains, or does it kind of stay?
it gets bigger, but it doesn't get undoable bigger. Like
When we lived on Oahu, we lived in the cold outside, it's really rainy. Farming in the next over, right, from where our house was. So we'd be lying in bed at night and like the rains come down. And I can like feel myself falling asleep. I look over and he's like wide awake. I'm like, why can't you go to sleep? He's like, I'm thinking about the monoai, which is the thing that diverts the water, the dam that diverts the water in the stream. Because he's thinking, oh, it's going to get blown out. I'm going to have to go rebuild it because all the rains and all that kind of stuff. But there's nothing like that here because the stream is just like a different
it's a different animal.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it gets high, but it's not like a huge river like that is like unmanageable. You know, like I mean, it's maybe from this to right.
It knows it's bad.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
And sometimes it comes to the tip top, but doesn't overflow.
Do you think any of that is because so much water is absorbed here than on Oahu? I think there's a lot of just like almost runoff
Absorbing.
on Oahu.
Yeah.
That's what makes those flash flooding so
Yeah, because it's all like compacted or cement.
Permeable space.
Compacted cement. Yeah, I think so. Maybe. Yeah. So everything is balanced.
Well, and
right?
also with like
Regulated.
more slope too, like water gets directed into low spots and kind of stays there. Whereas if it's like, you know, Oahu has a lot more flat land where the water can just like spread out when the rivers come up.
Yeah. Yeah. That, and they think, oh, I mean, the Waikiki used to be all lo'i terrace. How do you think you're gonna get all that water into one Aloha canal? Come
Yeah.
on.
Right. That was all one huge swamp, right? That whole area is
Yeah,
giant,
I mean,
like,
that's-
swamp.
Yeah, and that is like, that's how I knew when we walked into our land that was once lo'i. I know it.
Yeah.
It's because it was like swampy and it just like ranked of lo'i. Like once I like dug it, it was like, there's that lo'i smell. But you know, there's no way that my kupuna did not see the same thing that I see. There's no way. You know. So yeah, it was swampy, and that's like a telltale sign of like lo'i lands and stuff. It's always wet, mushy, swampy. You know, so you can't. I mean, water like is like the strongest thing on earth, right? Like carves mountains and creates valleys. Like, you think you're gonna contain that in a little, I don't know, canal? So yeah, it's like a tsunami in Hawaii.
Gross.
Is it a little bit?
I do the same thing at night when it's raining.
Yeah.
I can't sleep. I just lay there. I'm like, oh man.
Thinking about all the
Everything
run-
is
all the
getting
runoff,
pounded right
yeah.
now. Or all the land that I just tilled
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
That's all
exactly.
like the soil was already kind of wet. So it's,
Sipping down.
yeah.
Reconnect
Getting
yourself.
off. Yeah.
Mm.
Sometimes I just gotta like listen. I'm like, okay, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. Not what I want to do, but I guess that's what my plans are.
It's kind of liberating though when like the world just decides things for you. Like, hey, like, all right, well, that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay. One decision that I'm not making.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like the more you like listen to plants in the Aina, like the more frequent that occurrence becomes. You know, like you just kind of are like, you're not really deciding. You're just like a mindful participant in what is already happening. Like you're not really making anything happen. You're just sort of like a mindful participant in everything that's happening. I mean, I feel like our entire story on Simon in particular has been a lot like that.
A conscious cog.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and indescribably.
Imagine how great the
things
machine
are.
would be if we're all conscious cogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be an
Wow.
awesome machine. Let's create that machine.
Yeah.
Let's build that one.
Yeah.
It's like the cells in the body. Right? Conscious.
Right now it's like tick, tick, tick.
Health and resilience, yeah.
Yes.
I see a lot of memes.
Yes, it's coming, it's already happening.
Yeah, one for a meme.
Floating around this head. They're good though. They give me good laughs throughout the day. Yeah.
Good stuff.
So much pressure now.
I know, right?
It's a hobby, man.
Take all this, take all
Dried
this
up, I don't know.
material back and make some epic memes. Pressure's on now.
I don't know.
I'll see what I can do.
But, documentaries are good. Documentaries are good to have. If the farmers union could have, you know, their own set that they could go around and show people. And,
Hopefully we guys can do that next week.
Right?
I don't know.
but
Yeah, DVDs and screening passes.
That's the first that I've heard of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it like a? Do you have like a list already of ones you won, or you just like want more that you don't know about
I
yet?
don't know. There's a bunch. There's a bunch, and I like the ones that are like about, you know, like.
Well, one of them I've seen
not
already.
Only about like doomsday farming stuff. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so what are we doing?
Yeah, I like ones where there's like some like positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the solution
Instead of like
part.
the
yeah.
world is crumbling around us, and here this is why. And it's like,
Oh,
Not
God, I'm so depressed and paralyzed.
basically, they're all like.
So I'll
Have you
give
seen
you a
Fresh?
list of some good ones, maybe.
Fresh it, yeah.
Fresh is pretty good. That's
Yeah.
very positive. Fresh seeds of hope.
I get a little tired of watching some of those movies because it's all like the same movie, just like.
It is a little bit
differently,
recycled, yeah. I've kind of
It's
stopped.
kind of
But it was
preaching to
great
the
the first couple of
converted,
years, you know.
But for someone who's never seen it before,
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and then you want to like, actually go do it.
Yeah.